Manifesting while you sleep doesn't work. 12 million plays, 12 million people going to bed with £14 in the bank and waking up and checking their balance as though the universe might have completed a bank transfer during the night. The recording promises to dissolve limiting beliefs, rewire subconscious, and completely change your relationship with money. The person presses play, the person goes to sleep. The next morning, their phone says, your payment has been declined. And the sleep reprogramming industry sells almost anything you could want. Weight loss while you sleep, confidence while you're sleeping, fluent French while you sleep.
Blue, blah, flu, flank.
Wealth, magnetism, a completely different personality. All acquired passively between the hours of 10 at night and 6 in the morning. And it's never a 20-minute recording either. It's 8 hours. Because apparently your subconscious needs a full working day. I wonder whether that could be because the longer you watch, the more they get paid. So if they do an 8-hour video, then they get paid more. That's quite tempting, actually. The premise is that once you fall asleep, your conscious mind gets out of the way and your subconscious becomes open, receptive, ready to accept whatever it hears. It sounds plausible because the brain is still active during sleep. Active, however, does not mean it's sitting there with a notebook taking minutes. One of sleep's established roles is memory consolidation. During sleep, the brain strengthens and reorganizes some of the information it acquired while you were awake. It helps to stabilize learning that has already entered the system. Researchers have also studied something called targeted memory reactivation. A person learns something while awake, and that learning is paired with a particular sound or smell anchored with that smell. The cue is then presented again, the anchor, during sleep, and under controlled conditions, it can sometimes strengthen the associated memory. But notice the order. The person learns first while they are awake. The cue comes later. Sleep may help the brain revisit work that has already been done. It doesn't mean you can skip the learning. You can't press play and have a new identity installed by breakfast. Whilst asleep, your brain can organise the information it has already received. It cannot organise information that never properly entered the system. And people often say, but the brain can hear absolutely everything whilst you are asleep. And it can. Sound is still reaching the auditory system. Your ears have not switched themselves off because you've gone to bed. However, hearing something and processing its meaning are two very different things. Think about when you're waiting for that pizza delivery. Suddenly you can hear every car door slam within a 5-mile radius. You've ignored car doors all evening, but now every single one sounds as though it's directly outside your house. That's because your brain is tuned in. The sound has become relevant. That's a decision you made in a waking state. During sleep, a parent can sleep through traffic, the television, another adult snoring like a damaged lawnmower, but they will wake immediately when their baby makes one small noise. The brain continues to monitor sound and responds selectively to things it has already learned may be significant, but that learning happened while they were awake. The brain isn't listening to every single sentence, evaluating the meaning and installing it as a new belief. Your sleeping brain may hear someone saying money flows effortlessly towards you. It can also hear the fridge humming. Neither is going to make any difference, definitely not a financial difference. The industry takes the fact that the sleeping brain can hear sound and turns it into a claim that complex beliefs can be installed through it. Hearing the words is only the beginning. It's not evidence that the brain has accepted learning or acted upon it. Can anything be learned during sleep? Sleep learning research is more nuanced than saying the brain hears nothing. Under controlled conditions, scientists have found that very simple associations can sometimes form during sleep. The results depend on the kind of information being presented, the stage of sleep, the timing of the sound, and whether the stimulation disturbs the person. Some of the memory traces produced are also implicit, meaning the person cannot consciously access what was presented. That is a long way from you are now confident, you are free from limiting beliefs. Money flows towards you effortlessly. You can listen to Learn French While You Sleep for 6 weeks, and the only French you recognise is bonjour, because she says it before you fall asleep. Evidence that the sleeping brain can form a simple association does not demonstrate that it can absorb complex knowledge, learn a language, or rebuild an identity from an overnight recording. If you find this kind of clinical breakdown useful, don't forget to subscribe. So what does actually help you manifest or achieve a goal? Firstly, you have to identify what is already getting in the way. The habits that you keep repeating, the actions that you keep avoiding, the behaviours that take you in the opposite direction, the automatic patterns that start running before you have even consciously decided what to do. Because you can play I am wealthy all night, but if you wake up continuing to avoid your finances, undercharge, procrastinate, overspend, or not taking action, the audio has changed nothing. You have to stop the patterns that keep creating the unwanted result. Then install the habits, actions, behaviours that support the result that you want. That may include changing how you respond when an opportunity appears, how you behave differently when you feel uncertain, what you repeatedly focus on, and what action you take when the old automated pattern starts. You consider this while you are awake, when you can engage with the process. Then we can use hypnosis to install it. But hypnosis is not sleep. You can recognize the existing pattern, interrupt it, rehearse a different response, and practice that response until it becomes easier, more automatic. Mental rehearsal has shown to influence later performance and behavior. Research on implementation intentions also show that connecting a specific situation to a specific response can make that response more likely. When this happens, I do this. Hypnosis can also be used while the person is awake, focused, and able to respond to suggestion. They may be relaxed, but they can hear, imagine, understand, and participate in what is happening. That is very different from sleeping through 8 hours of affirmations and hoping your subconscious has handled the admin. And sleep can then do what it's supposed to do, consolidate the learning that has already taken place. It supports the change. It does not create the change for you. If a sleep audio helps you relax, use it for relaxation. If it helps you fall asleep, use it for sleep. Those are worthwhile outcomes. Calling it subconscious reprogramming is completely incorrect, I'm afraid.